Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Vibe. What is up? Dr. Vibe here, the host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, the home of Epic Conversations. I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2020 Best Podcast News, and also 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. Also, I host the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Care. It's also sponsored by Dad Central, Canada's national fatherhood organization. And one other quick thing, because we're really time sensitive today, I'm the board chair of the Global Food and Drink Initiative, which is a multimedia not-for-profit that's mission is to spotlight Blacks in the diaspora or of the diaspora that are doing it all in food, wine, and travel. Little bit quick background, because again, time is quick today. On April 19th, just recently, Canadian Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland delivered the first budget in 2 years that the Liberal government shared with the Canadian people. And a key part of that budget was laying out more than $2 billion for a national child care program. Today, we're very blessed and highly favored to have the Honourable Ahmed Hussen, Minister of Families, Children and Social Development, to talk about this big initiative. Let us welcome Minister Hussen.
Thank you so much for having me on your show. It's an honor to be with you and to talk to your viewers. Budget 2021 has two main goals. One is to continue to help Canadians deal with the continued impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. So helping businesses stay afloat, helping workers who lose their jobs because of COVID, helping people who have to stop working because of COVID, helping others who have to stop working because they have to care for a loved one, a family member because of COVID. So we're extending the Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy. We're extending the Canada Emergency Rent Subsidy to September for businesses and the Canada Emergency Business Account. But we're also extending the Canada Recovery Benefit and the EI and Canada Recovery Sickness Benefit and the Canada Recovery Care Benefit. So we're helping people now because people need help now. And that's what government is for. And we have said that we'll have the backs of Canadians. So Budget 2021 continues that. The second goal of Budget 2021 is to make the necessary investments now to ensure a strong, inclusive, and greener economic recovery. Because COVID will not be with us forever. As more and more Canadians are vaccinated, we will slowly reopen our communities and economy. And so we have to plan for life after COVID, and we have to ensure that our economy bounces back, but also that we recover in a way that is inclusive. We cannot go back to normal because normal was part of the problem. We have to ensure that everyone is included in our recovery. That means providing affordable access to childcare for children and especially women with children who are now being held back from participating in the labor market and working because they can't access affordable childcare. And Budget 2021 proposes to spend $30 billion over the next 5 years to do what? To do two things: bring down the cost of childcare fees by an average of 50% by the end of next year, 2022. So that's pretty ambitious. Cutting the fee by half by the end of next year, and then bringing it down further to an average of $10 a day per child for childcare fees by 2025, 2026. So very ambitious. That is savings being returned directly into the pockets of families now that are paying significantly high fees. There are parts of Ontario where people are paying $65 a day for childcare.
Right.
So those parents will see savings return to their pockets, but hundreds of thousands of women who are now not even accessing childcare because it's unaffordable and who are being prevented from working will go back to the workforce, and they will enable us to grow our economy, increase our gross domestic product, and increase our productivity. So this is not just smart social policy; it's very smart economic policy. And after the 5 years, our government proposes to invest 9.2 billion every year permanently after that to set up this Canada-wide system of early learning and childcare. But it's not just about affordability. It's about quality. It's about accessibility, and it's about inclusivity. So we have to make sure that every child in Canada, no matter their background, no matter their family and household income, has an affordable access to childcare services, early learning opportunities. This includes Indigenous kids, it includes racialized kids, including Black Canadian kids, it includes kids with disabilities. So we are going to be funding infrastructure improvements and a strategy to accommodate all of those kids while also increasing the number of affordable spaces, cutting the fees, but also training more teachers. Without more teachers, you cannot achieve more spaces because who's going to teach those kids?
Great. Thank you for giving a great overview of the program. Now, in Canada, to my knowledge, there's only one province that has healthcare. That's Quebec.
Childcare,
Is your,
childcare.
yeah, childcare, sorry, childcare. Are you going to be using their model or any parts of their model to launch what your government wants to do nationally?
Yes. So we have one province in Canada that has a $10 a day daycare. In fact, now
Right,
they have less than $10. So
right.
it's the most affordable system. Having said that, I also want to give a shout out to a lot of many provinces who are moving in this direction, who were already moving in this direction before the budget. Yukon introduced $11 a day daycare in April of this year, just before the election. Newfoundland and Labrador has cut their fees down to $25 a day childcare fees across the province. British Columbia was already experimenting with $10 a day daycare childcare in parts of British Columbia. So many provinces have been moving slowly towards this, and Budget 2021 and this Canada-wide system will enable them to get there faster.
Okay.
But yes, we will be using the Quebec model. However, we will
Hmm.
be learning from Quebec both on their successes, but also some of the challenges they had. When
Right.
they first started this process in 1997, they ran into some challenges. And so we have to learn from that too. And Quebec certainly offers us an amazing example. Let me tell you the impact that that program had on Quebec. So prior to 1997, Quebec was like other Canadian provinces, had a high numbers of women who were not part of the workforce, who were prevented from joining the workforce because of a lack of affordable childcare. Today, Quebec is not only leading Canada, but is one of the world leading uh, jurisdictions that have the highest participation of women in the workforce. So they've benefited immensely from this program, and we want to do the same for the rest of the country.
Excellent. This is a massive undertaking, Minister. This is a
Yes,
big undertaking. Um,
but the
maybe,
time is right. The time is right
yes,
because especially the pandemic. I think in
sure.
the context of the pandemic, people have realized that there is no strong economic recovery without the inclusion of women in
Right.
that economic recovery, and there's no inclusion of women in the recovery of this through in the recovery from this pandemic without access to affordable high quality childcare. It's simply not possible. So now's the time, and we're
Yeah,
going to get it done.
absolutely. I know our time is running out rather quickly because I know you've got back to back conversations today. Uh, I don't know if this is putting you too much under the pressure, but when does your government see this start to roll out? Because obviously you've got to get things in order. Is there any
Yeah.
sort of projection on when women and families are going to see this coming into effect?
Well, as I said, we're very, very ambitious. We're not waiting years to deliver those savings to parents. By the end of next year, we will see
Wow.
an average reduction of 50% in the fees. That will bring in a lot of kids who are now who don't have access because it's too expensive for their families to pay for childcare. So a lot more women will be able to rely on affordable childcare when those fees are cut by 50%, and even further when they're cut by down to $10 a day. But let me say one more thing. While we are cutting fees, we will also be building the system. And right after, I mean, the budget was proposed last Monday, but it
Right.
still has to pass Parliament. We expect that we will pass this budget very quickly in the next few days. We hope that the opposition parties can help us get it through. Once we get that, a parliamentary approval, I will be sitting down with provinces and territories to conclude those bilateral agreements. We can't do it without them, but the good news is many provinces and territories are already there philosophically. They want to get this done. They recognize the importance. They are hearing from from parents and women in their jurisdictions saying, we got to get this done. The time is now. The other piece I wanted to really highlight before we conclude is this is the fifth consecutive budget where the government of Canada is investing significant more dollars in affordable housing. $2.5 billion more in new money for affordable housing. So the Rapid Housing Initiative, which we introduced in October, which was a $1 billion program to create 3,000 affordable housing units across Canada, rapidly, meaning building it in 12 months or less. Incredible program. We will achieve higher targets. So we were targeting an ambitious target of 3,000 units. We will be building 4,777 units. So that program has worked so well. There's a very high demand. So budget 2021 puts in an additional $1.5 billion for the second round of rapid housing initiatives. So many vulnerable people will benefit from this. We're putting more money in the National Housing Co-Investment Fund. We're reallocating $1 billion to build deeply affordable housing. There is more money to convert commercial properties, which are now less expensive to acquire, and turning them into residential units. So there's money set aside for that, $300 million. And then there's an additional $600 million in the Housing Innovation Fund. This is a fund that is open to organizations and communities to come forward with innovations in housing.
Right.
The way you build housing or the way you deal with housing supply. It actually funds that. So, for example, yesterday I met with a group of young university students who we funded through the Innovation Fund, who built affordable, energy efficient, sustainable housing in a First Nations community north of Waterloo.
Okay.
So it funds those kinds of projects, right? Toronto, the city of Toronto used that fund to build modular housing, rapid housing, built in 4 months. So so that program again is receiving an additional $600 million, which will build 30,000 affordable housing units. So it's incredible what's happening. And last but not least, increase to the Canada Housing Benefit and a proposal starting in January to implement a 1% tax on non-resident, non-Canadian owned real estate that's vacant. So if you're a non-Canadian and you don't live in Canada and you own real estate and your real estate is vacant, you will pay 1% tax on the value of the home, because we don't want that property to be vacant. We want
Right.
that property should house people.
Yeah.
We want Canadians to have access to housing. So that's one of the ways we're doing that, as well as, of course, increasing the terms of the first-time home buyer incentive. So a lot is also happening in housing when it comes to this budget.
Well, Minister, I know that you've got a very positive, productive schedule. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to be here. I also want to make a big shout out to Jerica and Adam from your team that made this happen today. I'm hoping that we can have some further conversation.
Yes, absolutely.
You know,
I'll be coming back.
Yeah, please do. And certainly anything that we can do to help in regards to this conversation. You talked about housing. That's a whole other conversation.
So we can get
top of
more detail
childcare
into that. Yes.
But I know you've got to go. Thank you so much for your time. To you and your family, be safe, and be blessed.
Thank you so much. Next time we'll also talk about how this budget is delivering record investments for Black Canadians.
I will reach out to your team to set that up with your permission.
No problem. Thank you so much. And
have a great day, Minister. Be well.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That is talking about the $2 billion proposed for a national childcare program in Canada. And we got an extra 4 minutes from him. So we have to say thank you to that. So we'll just close it up here. My name is Dr. Vibe, the host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020 Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. Also, the host and co-producer of the only online show in the world for dads and fathers that is sponsored by Dove Men Care. and also co-sponsored by Dad Central Canada's National Fatherhood Organization. And I'm also the chairman of the almost forgot that GFDI, Global Food and Drink Initiative, and its purpose is as a multimedia not-for-profit to highlight Blacks in the diaspora that are doing their thing in food, wine, and travel. As always, I'd like to send off with this: live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourself grace. And finally, thank you very much to BIA Media for the great production. And again, thanks to the minister and Jerica and Adam from his team for making this happen. And you did hear him. He would like to come back. So right after this conversation ends, I'm going to be sending an email to his office to have him talk about housing and especially its effects on Black Canadians. God bless, peace be well, keep the faith, and walk good.